All right, welcome back, everyone. We are on another episode of Real Returns Investor Stories, and we have two of our favorites in the studio today, Layda and Valentina. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Hello, hello.
Good
Thank
evening.
you for having us here.
Thank you for having us.
No, it is our pleasure to have you. Now, for our audience, could you please give us a little bit of your background? How long have you been investing?
So we started investing in 2021, early 2021. So it's gonna be officially 2021. We owned a property before that, but we didn't know what we were doing. So we thought that we were investors, but we were not until we started getting the right education, knowledge, and connecting with people that was doing it and learning. So yeah, that's 2 years now.
Beautiful. And it must have been an easy journey.
It's how we normally think that it's gonna go straight, and it goes everywhere, round circles. You go down, you go up, you learn, and the community, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Do you
it's a
remember?
roller coaster.
Do you remember what one of your first major obstacles was that you encountered?
Well, for us, the beginning, it was literally not knowing anything. We didn't know what we didn't know. So we bought our first property and we were like, okay, we're killing it. We're gonna retire one day and be happy with living from our properties until we discovered that actually there was groups and proper education. So it's when we start finding the obstacles like, okay, we need to go back and rethink everything that we're doing, everything that we're missing, and how to increase the cash from a property, because we're thinking that we thought that paying the mortgage was making money. We never consider all the extras that include, right, like expenses, vacancy, and all that. So that was the very first thing that we're like, okay, so we need to go back and start from zero again.
So you guys bought your first investment property without taking any educational course at all?
Yes, yeah, we didn't have the education. We bought it in 2018, and yeah.
So yeah, we basically each of us bought our first home, right? And then we decided to sell one and move to a bigger house, and we kept that one as a rental income. That was in 2020.
18.
Yeah, 2018 we bought the first ones, and then we sold one in 2021. And then we just kept one again. We didn't know. And that was me, that I was always afraid, like, no, if I need to consider that I can pay 2 mortgages just in case, because we didn't know vacancy. We didn't know that. So I was like, no, we're going to sell one. And then we moved to a bigger house. But yeah, that's how you learn, right? So how you start learning, like, okay, well, you cannot look back and say, oh, we should have kept it. We learn what we learn, and now we're in a different position.
No, but thank you so much for sharing that, because for the audience out there that you're watching, what they're making reference to is also going from a ownership mindset to an actual investor mindset, because you're now operating a business. And when you actually mention, for those out there, she's mentioning vacancy. We didn't account for the expenses or the vacancies, because you now have to operate that property as its own business entity, right?
Correct.
Well, calculate for all of that within your numbers.
Yeah, that's completely the first mindset change, right? Like, as you say, going from ownership to investor, when before you think that if you own 4 or 5 houses and they are paid when you retire, you're going to live from that. It doesn't really work like that.
Yeah, we didn't even consider capital expenditures. So like thinking, the roof things that are big in the house, we never account for that you have to have like a reserve for these big ticket items.
That's right. The capital investments that you do, right? Because maybe in 10 years, you got to replace that roof, or maybe in 15 or 20 might be the furnace. And those are things that even as a homeowners, we don't think, oh no, I put a brand new when I bought my house, so it should last me my entire life.
Yeah, it should not be like a surprise, like, oh my God, where I'm going to get the money now. Yeah.
Right.
So then you got the education, and what course did that lead you on after that? What was your strategy?
So the first strategy actually was to invest our as a passive investor. So we had a TFSA that we didn't know what to do. Like we had it in the bank, and we didn't know that there were some options in real estate investing. So that was like our first move was about like TFSAs, RRSPs, and then we invested the TFSA in a property.
Oh, wonderful. And yeah, I mean, I went to a education, Irismar and I went to an education course similar to the one that you probably went to also. And I mean, working in the bank for 10, 15 years, when I went to that education course and found out what we could do with our registered funds, my jaw just dropped. I couldn't believe that people like us could have opportunities like that type of thing in with our registered funds. So that was really incredible.
Yeah, because we were actually losing money when we put that money in a TFSA. Was just around COVID time, so we lose a lot of money, like nothing. But obviously, in the bank, like no, yeah, it goes ups and downs. So you're gonna see the money coming back. You have to wait, right? Like basically, don't touch it. And yeah, when we start learning, that was the very first thing. Like, okay, how do we get the money out? It doesn't matter that we lost money, and now we recover the money now, right? And we made some money. So that was the very first thing. So far, we have been more passive, and now we're trying to switch to the active side. We also refi the single home that we had, and we got the HELOC from that house, and that's the one that we invest after in as passive investors, but with equity now in a multifamily deal.
All right, so now you're passive, and I know this, Irismar, and I know this journey very well. You're in a passive state. Things are going pretty smoothly, but you want to switch to being a more active investor. There's a big mindset shift, though, in order to take that on. How were you tackling that?
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for us. When we started real estate, actually, was the mindset, how to expand your mindset. You need to believe that you can achieve everything. And that actually happened. So you can tell a story when we actually went to our first meetup with you.
With you. That was our first meetup. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And you go in the meetup, so many people, and everybody, we were there, and people start saying, what is your GPLP structure and all this? And we were like, we don't know what anybody's saying. Like, you start just learning, but it was so warm and so like fulfilling, and everybody was so welcoming, and it was just that meetup. We always remember it.
Yeah, because we joined around March, the first group, and then that was, I believe, around May time. And it was just after they start opening and allowing the people to go out after COVID.
Yeah.
So we joined the group, they opened the meetups, and like, okay, we have to go. So we drove to Toronto. I believe you were coming from Windsor, and there was some traffic, and then we came there. And like, okay, we don't even know the reservation, so we contact Irismar, and Irismar, yeah, it's under my name, blah blah blah. So we were waiting for everyone. People started to coming, and we didn't know anyone. We didn't know anything about real estate. But yeah, it was a little bit overwhelming. People talking about everything, and everyone wanted to share, but at the same time was so grateful to see how the community was so open to share, right? We both are corporate, and in those type of works, normally like don't share, things like that. So when we came to this group and everyone sharing, and no, you need to do this, if you want to invest in this, talk to this person, and the people so humble. No one was like, oh yeah, I own this many doors. Everyone was so humble and sharing. So that was a great experience that we learned, that we always remember, sorry. And obviously we start talking about a lot of personal development. So Irismar told us about Miracle Morning book.
Yes, thank you for that. That was a pivotal book for me as well. One of the earlier books I read in the pandemic, and it just opens your mind to taking control on how you start your day, because then you are in control of you. That's all that you can really control. So no, thank you for saying that. It connected you with that.
Oh yeah, that was the very first book we read. Well, I read You Listen, and after that, right away we incorporated Miracle Morning, and from there, things just start to change. So we start working in ourselves, in our mindset, in our personal development, in our habits, and expanding our mind, right? You have to believe that you can achieve everything you want. If you have those limitations, you don't get that far. and really to be in this business, and even to operate a business when you are coming from corporate. You're used to that. You don't know what it is to be an entrepreneur. So it requires a lot. And I think for us, the first year, that was kind of the biggest working in that part.
Now we drop so many book titles on this podcast, but Miracle Morning, can somebody tell our viewers what it's all about?
Yeah, so Miracle Morning, it's a book that tells you to focus on the savers. So it's silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. So that's how you start your morning. And it's about doing it every day. And
Nice.
it doesn't matter if some days you have to rush, some days you have to get earlier. It's about doing it. Even if you can do 1 minute per exercise, that's fine. The point is getting it done.
Yeah, and basically
Repetition.
what it does, it sets your day in a different mood, right? So you start kind of recharging, working in yourself, in that setting your mind for the day, doing your exercise. So you basically start your day in a completely different mood than if you just rush out of bed to go to work, right?
Now, for those of you guys that are watching this, rewind 20 seconds and listen to that again, because if you wonder if something like this really works, both of you reacted with smiles on your faces as you were talking about it and recounting it. So that was beautiful.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right now I can say that book changed my life. I am not a morning person, and I would say that the book opened my mind and my mindset that you can shift your habits, and now I can say I'm a morning person. Like I wake up and do the exercise, and it's more like I like it. I want to do it. I want to start my day with energy. So yeah, it changed my life.
That's
Incredible.
beautiful. And I want to take you just one step back because, as Jim said, oh my God, it lit up the room. And yes, it does because you are taking control and the intention for your day. But what were some of the challenges that you face? Because we are creatures of habits. So we're now changing those habits.
Yeah, that's so powerful what you're saying, Irismar. Thank you for bringing it up, because for me, so Layda she read it and she started doing it. For me, it took a full year. So we read it, that was 2022, end of middle 2022.
Yeah, in the fall, summer, fall, yeah.
Whole 2023, I couldn't do it. So it took me a full year and a couple of months to get into the habit.
Wow.
And so in beginning of, actually it was 2022, and then 2023 I started doing it.
Yeah, it was 2020 because we read the book in June, July, I believe, around that summer, and then yeah, that was the year you struggled.
And then 2023, we were at the Lot 9 Baby.
Yes, that's
For
right.
New Year's.
And then
our friend's cabin.
we went home and something clicked in my head. And then since then, I started doing it in the morning. The 5 minutes exercise, meditation, there is things that we still have to work on. Like it's not perfect, but
Sure.
it's happening. Like I wake up and I'm like, I have my 5 minutes cycling. So first thing is meditation. Of course, you don't want to get your mind in anything different because then you're like gone. But yeah, it took me almost couple of months to get into it. Layda was easier. I could see her doing the exercise. I'm like, oh my God, how can I get there? But I was not ready. So
yeah, for me it's a little bit easier, sorry, to get into the habits. I struggle with some of the savers though. Meditation, there are days that works, there are other days that don't work. Visualization, we struggle for a little bit. Describing, some days I can go, other days I'm like, what do I put? So it is a challenge, it's a roller coaster, but I'm consistent. And at the end, that's what matters, being consistent.
That is beautiful because if we connect that journey, every single journey is unique. So I love on how you both sharing that. And thank you for, letting us in your vulnerability, Valentina, because people will be like, oh, well, you just did it. You probably started, continue, had a consistency, and then you stop, but then you just pick up again. And you sort of we can guess that you had that behavior and that pattern for the remaining of 2022. But like you said, something clicked. But something eventually clicked because you had already were pushing yourself out of the norm. Because you really were like, oh, I read the book, I want to do it. And then you have someone in your partnership that is displaying, I'm doing it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. So if you find yourself out there that you don't have that person beside you that you can see it, this is where you can kind of tap into your community or the 5 people that you want to emulate in your life, or get an accountability partner. And that's
so
how you can
powerful.
get successful in doing it. But I think the key you share, and I want you to expand a little bit more, was in one, on the consistency, which is why you're here. But 2, you never actually beat yourself down for not completing a day or not getting to it. Because you just said, I struggle with it, but I'll keep going.
Yes. And I think because after all this, we started listening to podcasts now. Like, okay, we drive work and listen to podcasts, reading when you wake up at night. So one of the things that I also learned is that sometimes if you are not in the mood, you're not in the mood, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's the part that now I'm trying. That's for me. Like, yeah, I pick the habit. I'm consistent. Some days I really don't want to do it, but I feel ashamed with myself that I have to do it. And there's nothing wrong if one day I don't do it. So now I'm in the process to try to break that structure, that because I haven't done it all, that I can break it, because it is also okay if one day you just don't want to do it. But again, consistency. And that was for you, the struggle, as you say, keep it until it became the habit.
Yeah, and it's when you see the changes in your life, that is when you're like, wow, this is so powerful. Because, it becomes part of your life. So when you start seeing, your energy is higher during the day, you're doing your job with, more positive, your thoughts are better, your mind has some time to relax. So then when you see those changes, you're like, wow, this is powerful. That's when I'm like, oh no, this becomes a non-negotiable. For me, it's a non-negotiable. Like if I cannot put myself first, then that's a problem.
Very good. I love the way you're looking at that. And in terms of you're listening to podcasts, and that was a revelation revelation, I guess, for me was I knew that I wasn't reaching my maximum potential. And you're listening to these podcasts, and it's about, they keep saying, what you need to do, to get, to go from here to here. You know what you need to do. You know it. And for me, I knew I knew it was drinking. I knew it was alcohol. Alcohol was my blockage. It was just stopping me from everything. It made me cloudy. And I had to make the decision. I had to listen to the podcast, like and it wasn't just one podcast I was saying. It was a bunch of podcasts saying, you know what you need to do, and it was getting that monkey off my back, sort of say, that really started letting me realize, look at myself and look at what I wanted to do, and going down the journey that you ladies have. So congratulations, it's amazing. I know this is going to inspire a lot of people watching, just to see how much you're glowing talking about it.
Yeah, no, congratulations to both of you, because it's also challenging, right? And taking that decision. And it is a journey. One of the podcasts that I listen a lot is the Mindset Mentor. And one of the things that I like about him is especially that he always tells you the truth, but he also always say that it is a journey. He say, I have been working in that for 19 years and I'm still working on it. So it's not a one thing, I found it, I fix it and move on. It's a lifestyle.
It is.
I was just having, go ahead, Irismar.
No, I was just saying it's an ongoing process, right? That's what is indeed a journey. And even whenever we start a journey and we're finding these challenges, as both of you share, it's because we can't condition overnight something that we have had for our entire life, because we don't even realize it. But some of those conditionings and bias that are already passed down to us, because those are behaviors that we observed and we just adopted, right? So
yeah,
No.
I was never a morning person for 30 years. 30 years, not a morning person. Never.
Yeah, and now you are
Never.
then.
Never. For me, it was like, why you have to get up so early? Now, 5:30?
Oh yeah.
Boom.
5
Wow, great.
every day.
5:30 every day. Well, Saturday and
Saturday and
Sundays,
Sundays, no, but
Saturday
we
and
do it.
Sundays we move it, but we still do the whole miracle morning.
No, that is good. Because again, that the concept of that is the flexibility to suit your lifestyle, to suit your journey. And I think as Layda, you were mentioning, for you is the reverse, going from doing everything, right? And check mark all the little
Yes.
fingers to now allowing yourself not to complete them if you just don't feel like it. Because sometimes we're not up to our best self. Yes, we can push ourselves, but it's only so much you can push yourself without getting in disalignment. Because the way that you both are talking about it and shining, you are in alignment with this. This is something that you need to be your best self. Now, what
Yeah.
would you say is your biggest change looking back?
The energy to start your day starting with you.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with you. So that's your me time. So starting your day, focusing on your mind, on your body, on your, like writing and getting all that out is that for me has been the biggest change. Like saying I am important and I'm doing this for myself.
And also, I will also add the ripple effect, right? Because once you start feeling yourself great, that you are getting to that energy that you want to be, things just start coming, and then you just feel like adding more things to your lifestyle. Then we incorporated the um, um, meditation at night, and then we do something we call happiness, which is also like I am affirmations, smiling. And we do that. We write that in the morning to each other, our own personal things. And also before we go to bed, we share I am affirmations one to another one, smiling. So you just keep incorporating things to put you in that mood. And again, the recognize that if you are not in a good mood, it is also okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's kind of recognizing that, like, okay, I recognize I'm not in my mood. I'm gonna unwind today, unplug, and tomorrow try to get again in the good mood, in the good energy.
Love it. Now, can you share anything that is like your mindset or wellness goal going forward that you want to now, now that you're getting this miracle morning into place and this has been a constant in your life, is there something else you want to up your game with in terms of mindset and wellness?
Okay, yeah. So that would be more like the visualization of the journey. Sometimes we get hung up of what's the purpose, what's our purpose here, but I think it's the whole journey. Yeah. So the next step is trying to visualize, stop thinking that we're not where we have to be. We are where we are. And now visualizing like other projects, like other things, but not stressing out, I think.
Yeah, planning our goals, kind of more like, okay, now that we know we can achieve everything we want, like thinking really what is what we want, and start planning and visualizing that so we can work towards that. And personally, obviously, again, miracle morning, we do exercise. I think for me, I started adding a little bit more time in the morning. The last thing I'm trying, I have been doing that for a couple of months, is no screen before bed. I just switch that to read, and then I do meditation and I go to bed. And I that, for example, it has improved my sleeping. I don't have dreams, that crazy dreams that often.
Yeah, it's so funny because I don't do it. So let's say I'm reading something and then I'm like, look, and she's like, no, it's not that my time is screen is over. So I'm like, okay, I'll send it to you so you can see it tomorrow.
I'm surprised she allows you in the bedroom with that thing.
That's okay. I just read.
Yeah, it's so funny. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm out of a scream. So I'm like, okay, I'll share it with you. So, you know, it's like
But I
there.
also keep doing it because I found the benefit. Like really when you go to things and even sometimes on the weekends, I don't know, not a long time ago, watch a movie on a weekend and I didn't sleep the same because you go to bed thinking on the movie, whatever it is. It could be not a bad movie, but you keep thinking, you go to bed thinking on that. So that's what happens in your sleep. When I read, and sometimes it's just 1, 2 pages, 3 pages. For me, it's trying to kind of
Unwind.
disconnect. Yeah, say like, okay, the day is gone. I'm switching to my sleeping time. Is making that switch, and mentally, whatever it works for me, and I have a better sleep.
Well, I really connected with something you said earlier, Valentina, and I think because Irismar's usually the one with the book beside her bed, and although there is a book beside my side of the bed,
One book.
I well, one book at a time.
Layda had like a stack of 10 books.
Oh.
But yeah, keep going.
No, I was just saying, you know what, I really do want to put it away, and I think, like you said earlier, you know, there's going to be that moment that clicks with us, where we just say, you know what, this is enough. And then we're going to realize the benefits that Layda is experiencing with her sleeps and her better mornings.
Yeah, no, it definitely works, and I think that has been kind of the life changing for us since we joined the real estate journey, right? Which is the interesting part because we joined the real estate thinking or looking to build our portfolio of properties. And then we found that the very first thing we needed to do was working ourselves. And we are so grateful for that. And again, we keep working on that. But now it's like not just rush to get to where other people around is. Like, okay, it's really what we want in our life is it's not a competition. And again, the community is so great because the people is never comparing to yourself. People is always willing to help you or to guide you or teach you whatever they learn. So now we are in that process, like, okay, we know that personal development, we feel that we are where we wanted to be. We know that's now like a lifestyle that we have to keep working. Now transitioning into business, like, okay, where we want to go in the business and trying to develop that.
Yeah, I love this level of clarity that's in our lives now, where, you know, there's, you can see the pathway now, and you know what you want, or if you don't know what you want, you know what you need in your life. And that usually when you know what you need, you're going to get what you want as well. So it's beautiful being on this journey. Now, it's great to hear what you guys are doing, mindset and wellness. Now, active role in real estate investing, what are you looking on tackling, if you don't mind sharing?
So we have the multifamily that we say, so that so we met our partnerships through a meetup in a park. So they are the actives, they are the ones that have experience. So we are super, super, super happy and super grateful with them. So that's the thing that we have in terms of business. In I'm sorry, in terms of real estate. So we have still all single. And we have some passive investments. So where we want to go is multifamily, still multifamily. We keep looking in multifamilies, trying to become active, but also open to maybe share the working side with other partners. Like, okay, we raise capital, someone else does, as we transition to the active side completely, because we still have our 9 to 5 jobs, right? So, and that's going to be a transition to leave them. It's not that we're looking just to leave tomorrow, especially with everything that is happening. You have to be double cautious how you take the decisions. And I think at the end, it was also like, okay, how we can build a business and maybe switch in a year. I think with everything happening, is more like, okay, go slow and secure. So we are trying to be clear in that part, like, okay, want to go multifamily in transition to the active. So we're trying to build that part now.
Yeah, and when we can, our partners we're so grateful, and they're always giving us like learning experiences. So whenever they can, they teach us things. The quarterly meetings, they're always teaching us things, and we can see how the processes are. So we're getting, more and more knowledge on the active side.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, Irismar and I have been part of a project in Windsor, and yeah, being like as you're investing in you've got some money, so you're that passive partner, but they take you on this education journey with them, the active partners, and they show you what they're doing, why they're doing it, and what they did wrong, and what they're doing to avoid that next time, and how to fix it. Like it's really an awesome community.
It is, definitely it is. And that we are so grateful for that as well, because a lot of people that we had met in these journeys had also become really good friends, like both of you. Again, we always remember you. You were the very first people that we met in this journey, and you guys changed our lives. So it's grateful, really. It's amazing, everything you learn.
I
Wow.
think it was thank you for that. But similar to you ladies, it's just the openness that we got in the community itself, because it is an abundance mindset. There's not a scarcity, and it's about elevating and helping each other. And I love it how you were able to say, knowledge sharing. How do you do this? Don't make that mistake. Maybe check. And I love how you connected that you needed to work on ourselves, because one thing that we are actually embedded in is that you don't want to be a burden on someone else, or you don't want to be asking for help. And this is the opposite in this community that you're sharing. And you say, no, everybody was so welcoming and willing to share, because you're not afraid. If you don't ask questions, that's when we're going to make mistakes.
Yes. Yeah. And we can share a story about that actually, because when we joined, being Latins, so when we got our HELOC, we were like, we can buy something ourselves. Why we want to have a partnership? We don't know the people. We don't trust the people.
Yeah, the background from our cultures, yeah.
And then we went to this meetup in the park and talking to everyone. And again, we always had the connection going to the events, but still, you feel being new, you still feel like how I'm gonna trust someone with my money, right?
Right.
So we just met our partners. We didn't have a chance actually to talk during that event, but we're like, oh, let's connect after. It was that kind of instant connection. Let's chat. Let's go for a brunch in a week. So we went after that and we talked to them, and just happened. We were talking about life, what they were doing. They were sharing their experience on the real estate. And you ask them, oh, you have
Their
a
goals.
project, and they share it with us. We wanted to learn, so they send us information. And that night, actually, we're like,
You know what, it might, yeah,
maybe not a bad idea if we go into a partnership. They know what they're doing. We don't have time.
the numbers make sense. We did the due diligence, but it was a limiting belief for us. Like, we came with this mindset that, oh, we're doing alone. We're gonna do it alone. We don't need anyone. Well, guess what? We didn't have the time. So how are we gonna do it? So that limiting belief was to kind of step out and do the due diligence. It took us where we are right now. So
Awesome.
Yeah, but it's
Well,
also the community, the trust, because you feel that around.
Yes.
absolutely.
But I want to highlight to those watching out there two things that you mentioned. Yes, you follow the connection. You did the connection. Okay, let's follow it up and let's meet again and getting to know each other on a personal level. But the two key things that you said was the numbers made sense because you did your work and you had an understanding of what the project, or they clearly communicated it to you. But two, you also said, we did our due diligence. And I think that is key, because as much as we need to know, like, and trust each other, and that's the foundation on how we do things, we also cannot forget that real estate investing is a business and we need to do the due diligence. So I just wanted to kind of enhance that piece because it was so important, especially when you mentioned, yeah, the numbers worked and we did our due diligence. Yes, because we all need to.
Yes.
Yeah, as passive investors, you need to know the business as well. Doesn't mean that because you're passive, you don't know. And so you need to understand actually how the business works. It's just that maybe you're not doing the actual work, and the values have to align. It is a long-term relationship. It's not just, oh, here's my money, I don't like you, but you're gonna give me money or you're gonna generate some income. No, it doesn't work like that. It is a relationship. So it has to be the connection, and the deal has to make sense.
Yeah, very important for anybody raising money. If it's your first time, don't take easy money. Take the money that's a relationship where the people believe in you and there's the trust and the bond there. Easy money could just lead to more problems. Make sure you go through your checklist and have conversations with people.
Yeah, completely. Again, we know people that say it's like a marriage. You're marrying the person as well, so it has to work.
Yeah.
Well, there is. Oh, sorry, Irismar, go ahead.
Go.
I was going to say there's no doubt in Irismar and my mind that you two are going to be rocking the real estate investing world. I want to thank you, Valentina and Layda, for
Thank you.
both joining us so much. And we look forward to having you on again when we can have an update. So thank you. Thank you for watching Real Returns, Investor Stories, and we'd love to have you on. So reach out to Irismar or myself, and we'll get you on the show.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everyone. Yeah, for watching.
Adios.